What is the Truman Doctrine? Explained simply. Imagine a world where countries are worried about falling under the control of aggressive neighbors or powerful ideologies. That was the situation after World War II. The United States wanted to stop the spread of communism, which was growing rapidly in some parts of Europe and Asia. In 1947, President Harry S. Truman announced a new policy to help countries threatened by communist forces or outside pressures. This policy became known as the Truman Doctrine. It was a way for the United States to show it would support nations fighting against totalitarian control. The main focus was on Greece and Turkey, which faced threats from communist groups and Soviet influence. Britain had been helping these countries but said it could no longer afford to do so. President Truman stepped in to fill that gap. He told Congress that the U.S. needed to support free peoples resisting subjugation by armed minorities or outside powers. This was a turning point because it marked a shift from just cooperating with the Soviet Union during the war to actively trying to contain its expansion. The doctrine promised economic, aid and military support to countries fighting communist insurgencies. It aimed to stop the spread of communism rather than trying to push it back where it already existed. This policy laid the foundation for many Cold War actions, like forming alliances and supporting anti-communist governments around the world. The idea was that if the U.S. could help countries resist communism early, it would prevent larger conflicts later. The Truman Doctrine also influenced U.S. involvement in conflicts like the Vietnam War. The United States saw Vietnam as part of a bigger effort to stop communism from spreading in Southeast Asia. This approach was about supporting nations threatened by communist forces, whether through military, aid, or economic assistance. So, in simple terms, the Truman Doctrine was the U.S. promise to help countries fight against communist threats and keep the world from sliding into totalitarian control. It was the start of a long effort to contain Soviet influence and shape U.S. foreign policy during the Cold War.